What's up YouTube, Webberz05 here coming at you today with Q&A number 78. But before I get to the Q&A guys, I want to do some quick shout outs to new subscribers, Joe Kobo, Kim the Lazy and Artemis. Thank you so much for subscribing guys, you're the reason my channel is growing stronger. And so, today's questions are once again brought to you by my good friend Dr.Magician84, with a quick comment beforehand stating, sorry for the lack of questions, it's been hard to think of any until now. That's quite fine, my friend. I've actually quite enjoyed the bit of a break to just being able to concentrate on some other bits, because as more recently I've been trying to get probably a bit more into Digimon, so I've been focusing on my deck and that, and also Pokemon has been in the position that we're literally going from old rotation into new rotation, so I've been trying to get my decks sorted out for that as well. So the break from Q&A just gave me a bit of extra time to properly focus in those, so I don't mind, thank you. But thank you though. So, 5 questions from Dr.Magician84. I'm actually going to do the first 2 questions kind of together because my answers to each one kind of relate to each other. So, let's get straight into those. So question 1 is thoughts on midterm destruction speed duel set not coming to the UK. And then the second question, which kind of relates to it as well, including my answer, what could Konami do to get more people interested in speed duels? So, for starters, to get them more interested in speed duels, maybe, I don't know, not cancel the speed duel set coming to the UK. I mean, if you're trying to get people to get more interested in the game, it kind of helps if you broaden it out and actually sell it to a wider audience. As for why it's not coming to the UK, that is quite strange. I mean, I kind of get that speed duel has kind of dropped off a bit in bigger events, but still, some people do enjoy it. I guess maybe part of the reason I could think of would be why they're not really hyping it as much is because naturally duel links are still a thing, so maybe people are just figuring, I could invest this money into the TCG set, or I can just do the same thing in duel links, which kind of makes it, which from a player perspective is kind of like thinking in terms of budgeting in terms of playing the game. Like some people still prefer playing it in actual TCG, to go to events, do all these things. But now we've got things like the digital version, so some people are just thinking from the perspective, do I want to invest a lot of money into the physical game, or do I want to just have a go at being really good on digital platform? Because some people just like that, so yeah. Maybe that's probably why speed duels seem to have dropped off a bit. But yeah, that is quite upsetting that the midterm destruction's not coming to the UK. Though, and also in relation to the second question of what could get people more interested in speed duel, so naturally the latest set of what was supposed to be coming out was part of the GX era. Something I could think of that could maybe get people more interested in playing speed duels or picking up speed duel bits. Reprint Air Neos into speed duels. I know there's this huge controversial thing of why they can't reprint Air Neos, but it's still a card done by Konami, so I feel they can just do it. And so, considering Air Neos has not had a print it's not had a print since its original printing. It's never been reprinted. So that would just be my suggestion. Give it a reprint. Give people a reason to want to pick up the set. Because let's be honest, you reprint Air Neos, hero players are gonna go crazy over this news. Dark Magician, you included, I know you've been struggling a lot to sort out Air Neos. With the exception of that one, I happily sorted you that one time. But be honest, if they were to reprint Air Neos into a speed duel set, you'd probably invest in that set, wouldn't you? I mean, maybe not potentially because naturally I know you're investing in your wedding but all that, but if you didn't have to worry about that, at some point you'd probably invest in it just to get the Air-Neos. Okay, so question 3. Did you see my video on top 15 outplays and comebacks? So, I made a start to watching the video, but because I made the mistake of doing so after work, I was absolutely shattered, in which I didn't have the concentration to actually finish watching it. So if I find some time, I will probably try to finish watching it, but no, I haven't quite finished it yet. But yeah, I will I will give it a go at trying to finish it, but I did see the opening of it. Nice to see that I was a bit of an inspiration for this video, so thank you for that. Question 4. How do you feel about card erratas? So I've got mixed feelings about them, because like, personally, I'd have to say it would depend on the card and the errata it's given, because I think like most players in the community with erratas kind of have the same mindset of like, depends on the card and depends on what, like, how big of the errata is. Because like some erratas, you're like, yeah, this is really good, balances the card, makes it fine. And some erratas are like, okay, so this card's just completely ruined and now it's pretty much trash. And for me, yeah, I'm kind of in the same mindset. Like, I think probably one of my least favorite erratas, I'd have to say, probably is Ring of Destruction, because one of the things people did, because the errata with Ring of Destruction is now basically the rule with Ring of Destruction now is you have to be doing it for you either have to do it for exact game. The minimum you can do it for is either exact game, or you can't do it to your opponent, which makes it rather annoying. So, because I mean, I can understand part of the reason why they did it, because back in the day, the issue with Ring of Destruction was people were using it to just game the opponent when they were dramatically ahead, or forcing draws. And I get that Konami's been like hitting cards that like stop a draw from happening, like self-destruct button. I think a couple other things that were around draws. Well, I think that there are two main. I think the two main ones were like self-destruct button and Ring of Destruction. But yeah. Also, the thing I don't like about the errata on Ring of Destruction is now it doesn't work in combination with Ring of Defense, which is kind of like the big thing about it in the anime, which makes it kind of annoying now. I mean, you can still combo it with both, but now it just means you're now destroying a monster and nobody's taking damage. So, kind of whatever. Now it's just kind of whatever, so that's why I'm not really fond of the errata on Ring of Destruction. However, some erratas I find really good. Some of them, in some cases, actually make the card a little bit better. Look at Necro Valley. When they errated Necro Valley, instead of just making it like an average card, they errated it, and then people were looking at it like, dude, they just made this card better. Because originally the errata on Necro Valley was negate any effect that would move another. The original effect of Necro Valley was stop stuff that would move a card from that would move another card somewhere else. Now the errata is, yeah, you can't even move yourself anywhere. So yeah, it's even better. And also they gave other conditions of stuff that it didn't have before, like stopping cards from being banished. I mean, that kind of relates into the original text that you can't move anything. I suppose that was just less of an errata, more of PSCT with updated terms. The additional condition that now you can't change types and attributes in Grave, that's interesting. So now it's like an anti-zombie world as well. Changing attributes in Grave, though, that's kind of a rare thing unless you're playing against Element Saber, but to be honest, who's playing Element Saber in 2024? No one I can think of. But still, I suppose, interesting condition, particularly if maybe they build an archetype around changing attributes in Grave to do stuff. Well, as I said, they kind of did that with Element Saber, but that didn't really do anything. It'd be interesting if they did do another one. So yeah, Necro Valley, good example of an errata that I really like. And then naturally some other erratas that like kind of just mid-range. It's like now they're just like it's an errata. Some of them are just like it's an errata. Cool. Like say Exchange of the Spirits. Now it's kind of like, well, Exchange of the Spirits now kind of in the position of like, naturally because of the errata you can't do what you did in the old days with it, which is just mill out most of your deck, exchange of the Spirit, switch your deck, switch both players' deck with Grave. Your opponent now doesn't have a deck and they just auto deck out. So, but in order to get to, both players need to have 50. They made that OTK impossible. Naturally, they brought in the Ishizu, but with the release of the Ishizu archetype, that now brought in things like Keldo and Mudora, which can just chain to put 5 cards back in. Because naturally the activation requirement is to have 15 or more engraved. You could then go, yeah, chain Mudora, chain Keldo to put 10 cards back into your deck. So now it's kind of like, so you can still sort of do what you did back in the day, but now it's not like completely back in the day because your opponent does still have a small deck. So now it's kind of like similar to the position of the original of when it first debuted in the anime, and Ishizu left Kaiba with a deck of only 6 cards. 6 cards that she all knew as well, which kind of worked in tandem with the Gravekeeper's Trap. So that's, yeah, pretty decent errata. And I think another errata I like was when they errated D-Mock. Now it's like D-Mock's still got all of its powerhouse plays of banishing whatever kills in battle, but they kind of just delayed the ability of recovering a spell, which kind of just balances out a bit more. I think when they did that, now it's just kind of like nobody really plays it. It'd be nice to see. It could be nice to see it played, but I can understand the reason, because it's like it's during the end. Because now it's during the end phase. It's not really a practical way of doing it. Yet, I suppose the best thing I can think of in terms of D-Mock with its errata is if, say, a Dark Magician player goes Dedication through Light of Darkness during the opponent's turn, like say maybe during the end phase, like in the position, like maybe you want to also do an Eternal Soul to banish, do the combination of Eternal Soul, Dark Magical Circle to banish something that they've just set at the end phase, of the turn, so they can't even use it. So that's probably like a nifty thing you could do with it. And then, because you're still in the end phase, essentially like, cool, summon the D-Mock in the end. Now I'm in the activate effect during the end phase, recover a spell. Since I'm in the end phase, just get my spell back straight away. So that's okay, but I suppose that's just one decent interaction of what you could do with D-Mock. But even still, I haven't really seen a Dark Magician deck play it. But hey, now that I've pointed that idea out, you could consider trying it. I know you probably won't, but it's an idea. Just something to think about. PC's gone offline while I was doing that question. And last question, question 5. Do you find it annoying when people post fake ban lists? I personally do. So yeah, when people do things like to be fair, I don't really see a lot of like fake ban lists. Sometimes I do see positions like people posting up old ban lists, but I can typically tell them straight away because I'm like actually reading the data and it's like, dude, this is an old ban list, quit annoying us like this. So yeah, I don't really see too many things of like people posting fake ban lists. I do see a lot of people posting like ban list predictions. Some of the ban list predictions I see are like, dude, get over yourself, this is never going to happen. This is like some people I've seen which is like, these are all like, some of these predictions are like, I've seen are like in specific like groups like for decks. So it's like people are being favoritist towards these decks. Like one of the recent predictions, like I think a recent prediction I saw was hitting a lot of meta-relevant disruptions and hand traps. Like I think I saw Droll, Shifter, and a few other bits. Like, yeah, that would be good. It's probably not going to happen, but it would be good. And then like in the limited section, I'm seeing like 4 or 5 cards revolved around the archetype of what the group they post in is. It was like, so like I think I saw one in a Pendulum race group, and I saw in the limited they put Kieran. I saw them put Kieran, Electromite, Plushfire. I'm like, oh dude, get over yourself. This is never going to happen. They're not going to bring those cards back. I mean, to be fair, I thought they actually might have brought Kieran back because of the recent support in Phantom Nightmare, but I don't know. I mean, technically that could maybe still happen for the next ban list, because I think even with the support, they're not really doing as much. And in the Magispector deck, you still have to tribute summon it. So that's meh. But I suppose, yeah, the main problem is its utilization in other decks. Unless they were to say Errata Kirin to state that it has to target a Magispector pendulum that you control, and then it would be. I mean, if they would errata, yeah, just to state target a Magispector pendulum you control and a card you're controls, bounce them both to the hand, then yeah, it's a bit less restrictive. Then yeah, it's a lot less restrictive. So, yeah. But who knows? Maybe they will. Maybe they won't. So yeah, some of these like prediction lists can be quite interesting if people are actually doing a legit accurate one. But all these like ones with people being completely unrealistic are like. No. And on that note, guys, that is all the questions I have today. So thank you very much, Dark Repetition, for your questions. Very amusing as always. And if anyone else has any questions for me, I do these Q&As every Wednesday UK time, morning or afternoon, depending on my schedule. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you next time.